fried chicken.
I was faced with so many campaigns that took on so many identities. But there were also some campaigns na I think that was right for Chowking. The biggest challenge of Chowking then was how to migrate from a brand with multiple personalities to becoming a single-minded, focused brand. It needs to be able to stand for something unique and single-minded.
Mahigit 2 million na ang nabiling Chowking Chinese-style fried chicken. Bakit kaya takam na takam sila?
Hanggang dito rinig ko ayaw mo.
Ano to? Sarap niya sa balat, kasing sarap niya yung laman.
Saka juicy eh.
Kaya yung pati mga bata magugustuhan to kasi.
Hindi niya nakakailangan ng ketchup, hindi niya nakakailangan ng gravy. Ang kailangan na lang talaga bibig mo.
Baka ikaw na lang ang hindi pa nakakatikim. Chowking Chinese-style fried chicken. Only 69 pesos.
What you need to understand is that in coming up with campaigns, it's all about storytelling. In fact, the more memorable stories or the stories that engage you more are those stories that have an introduction, a climax, and a closing. Campaigns are also designed that way. And it's good because if you design it that way, you're able to activate the product over a longer period of time. And therefore, really be able to maximize its trial and eventually its repeat purchase. For Chinese-style fried chicken, that was episode 2. Because the story for Chinese-style fried chicken is that we call it, and we usually put titles for each phase. So in this case, for Chinese-style fried chicken, chapter 1, the introduction, we called it announce phase. Chapter 2 was the convince phase. Okay. Anong kwento? In the announce phase, you basically just make people know about the news on Chinese-style fried chicken, that this time we have a fried chicken that has lutong at linamnam in one. But chances are there's also a good number of people who will not believe right away. Right? Therefore, we go to chapter 2 to further increase trial. Convince phase. Kaya convince because you want to convince more people. Or, tinatawag nating skeptics or doubters.
Ang tagumpay, ganito pinaghahandaan. At dito sa Chowking, matitikman. Chowking, tikman ang tagumpay.
For me, the endorser has always just been a reason to believe. The unique selling proposition or the key message will have to be about the product and what its proposition is, the benefit that it's offering. So for example, in the case of Chinese-style fried chicken, it's all about lutong at linamnam. Now, the question of an endorser is that, yung question of yung value ng endorser is that, will the endorser as a reason to believe help me reinforce that message or drive the point harder? And if the answer is yes, then you see the value of an endorser. So, if you look at it that way, the endorser really just becomes a support to driving your USP in the minds of the consumer. There has to be a fit for it to be able to support well. And if you find that fit, then by all means, use an endorser. The way we do it in JFC, ang target market namin, they have two classifications. You have a broad target market and a core target market. So for Chowking, our broad consumption target market are working adults, A, B, C, D, E. Yeah? 15 years old above. Okay, yun yung broad. And like I said, diba, because it's broad, within that group, ang daming different types, diba? So yung core target market namin, we streamlined it and we said it's working adult only from 25 to 35 CD. So it's a sub-segment of your broad consumption target market. So because now it's more focused, we're now also able to focus our communication and become a single-minded brand. But we know, in the greater scheme of things, ito naman yung mga trendsetters within the world of working adults. So, we win their conviction, chances are, we also win the conviction of others. The way we do it is that we realize that these channels, albeit they're all ways to communicate with their target market, they can play different roles. Okay? And the way we define roles, we only consider two factors: reach and affinity or impact. So reach, it's as simple as how many heads are you able to hit tapping the channel. Yung affinity naman is the quality of the interaction. Kasi sa TV, because more and more people are more desensitized to advertising or TV commercials, hindi na ganun kalakas yung impact ng communication mo on TV. On the opposite extreme naman, say for example, internet, digital, especially if it's something that has to do with a social network execution, in Facebook. And for example, it's also an interactive way of advertising. May participation ng audience. That being the case, I have more affinity there because yung involvement ng audience is much more, it's deeper. So I get more impact in terms of my communication. But compared to TV, my reach in internet is still very, very low. So those are the opposite extremes. And all the other channels are in between. But it's really just a combination of reach and affinity.